Dear colleagues, we start the conference with the slides. The questions will follow. Before that, we had a bilateral program with our Indian colleagues. There were detailed talks with the Foreign Minister of Subramaniam Jaishankar, and there was also a conversation when we were accepted as the Prime Minister of India by Narendra Modi. We confirmed during the meeting with the head of the government and during the talks with the Foreign Minister all the agreements that were reached. Can you just leave us? It's either you yourself or your phone. Who will speak? Look, can you leave us? I am not joking. Can you leave us, please? Sir, excuse me. If you don't surrender your phone, they will take out a gun. During the meeting with the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, we discussed the key areas of our particularly privileged strategic partnership, which were determined during the President Putin's and Prime Minister Modi's summits, including the last such event, which took place here in New Delhi in December of last year. As a result of that meeting and the summits, a very important program of strategic economic cooperation between our countries until 2030 was signed in December 2025. It contains all the necessary steps that will be taken in order to achieve the goal of $100 billion by 2030 within the framework of our bilateral trade. We have considered ways to improve the mechanisms that we have, and further development and strengthening of these mechanisms of practical trade and economic investment cooperation in such a way as not to depend on the negative, unfriendly influence of third countries. We have agreed to strengthen transport, technological and investment cooperation, including joint development of the International Transport Corridor North-South and the Northern Sea Route. We have also paid attention to the steps that are being taken to optimize the system of direct mutual calculations. We have a common attitude to increase the supply of Russian hydrocarbons, fertilizers. Cooperation in the sphere of a peaceful atom is developing very successfully, as well as in the sphere of peaceful exploration of space. We have discussed the possibility of providing us with new sites for construction of several more blocks of nuclear power plants, which will significantly strengthen the energy security of India. We have a good level of military technical cooperation, including a joint release of modern weapons based on advanced defense technologies, as well as good plans in the sphere of space exploration. These are satellite navigation, manned programs, and joint scientific research. We have considered the international agenda in the course of bilateral negotiations with Indian friends and at the BRICS ministerial meeting. The main focus was on the preparation for the 18th BRICS summit, which will take place here in New Delhi in September this year. We had a common opinion at the ministers' level that the BRICS has come a long way in its 20 years of existence. It has formed a valuable, multifaceted partnership that covers almost all spheres of interstate interaction. The Union is considered to be the main leading element in the process of forming a polycentric world order and promoting the interests of the states of the world's majority. It has formed a very reliable and strong culture of communication, which is rooted in mutual respect and sovereign equality, and is focused on taking everyone's opinion into account, on forming an honest balance of interests as a guarantee of the feasibility of all agreements reached. This approach ensures, as we are convinced, the stability of the BRICS authorities among the states of the world's majority, and maintains the attractiveness for more and more countries. We have paid special attention to the crisis situations in various regions of the world, including the Middle East, the crisis around the Strait of Hormuz, Iran, the situation in Lebanon, the Palestinian territories, where the process of liquidation of any hints of the creation of a Palestinian state in violation of the UN resolution is being carried out. Libya, Yemen, Syria are all intertwined in deep contradictions, which make the situation in the Middle East and North Africa more and more complicated. Almost all of the aforementioned hotspots are the result of the rough intervention of Western countries in the affairs of a particular country, including the armed invasion, the overthrow of regimes, which we have been observing for the last 15 years, starting with the so-called Arab Spring. We have also talked about the intolerance of the practice, which unfortunately continues, of one-sided coercive measures in order to punish sovereign governments and to interfere in their internal affairs. In this regard, we have shown solidarity with our Cuban friends. Cuba, as you know, is one of the partner countries of the BRICS. This category of partner countries was established in 2024 in October at the BRICS summit in Kazan. It is now represented by more than a dozen countries that already have such status. We have clearly spoken in favor of the continuation of the reform of the global governance system. In fact, the West, which has been pestering the globalization model proposed by the United States for a long time, and has been promoting this model of globalization as the optimal model for the development of the entire world community for decades, has destroyed this universal model with its own hands and one-sided sanctions. This model was quickly fragmented, and now international financial institutions, which were created under the old model of globalization, must of course undergo reforms. It has long been overripe. These reforms must first and foremost reflect the real weight of states in the world economy and world finances. Let me remind you that the BRICS and its partner countries represent more than 40% of the world's GDP, while the Group of Seven, which still holds the reins of power in the Bretton Woods Institutes, barely exceeds 30% of the world's GDP. Therefore, the reform has matured, and our Western colleagues are trying to contain it in every possible way. But the trend is irreversible. According to forecasts, the average growth rate of the BRICS states will be somewhere around 3.7%, or closer to 4%, compared to 2.6% of the world's overall growth rate in the coming period. We have discussed all these issues in detail, and the Indian presidency will make a general statement during the day as we understand it. But I believe that our main task has been accomplished. We have outlined the key issues that will be brought to the agenda of the upcoming BRICS summit in October. In the current period, holding such an event will certainly become one of the main events in world politics and the economy. I have a question. I am interested in this. The understanding that the BRICS is a prototype of the future multipolar world order also exists. At the same time, I would like to emphasize that no one is trying to distance themselves from the rest of the world, from the world minority. The BRICS is a platform where it is possible to discuss the interests of the world majority and the world minority in a business and honest way, based on the search for a balance of interests. The BRICS is represented by the leading BRICS countries and their partners, as well as the BRICS Group 7 countries and their allies.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.